Just 2 weeks behind Knox Johnson, he continued eastwards for another lap of the Southern Ocean to save my soul, as he put it. This is the real solo race, sailing like it's 1968.
Forcément, tous les gens qui reviendront de la Golden Globe Race, forcément, il faut s'attendre à ce qu'ils aient changé.
It's a great story and it's the 50th anniversary, and it's a great opportunity to relive the original solo sailing when technology wasn't available, where we're just using sextants and wind-up clocks to find your position. And it's really the story of humanity and human endeavour in the extreme. So the world has never seen anything like this event.
Well, good day, everybody. Oops, I pressed the wrong button already. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hang on, I get rid of that, and I get rid of that, and I'm here. So number 5, this is all about Robin Davie and me, a couple of old blokes. And before I get into the latest news, I'm going to bring him on straight away. So hopefully he'll turn up here and he'll be live. G'day, Robin. How are you?
Hey, good day, Jane. Good day, Don. Sorry that you're second, Don, but you've got to know your place.
I know, and I pressed the wrong button as soon as I got on. But anyway, not concentrating, too relaxed because you're here. But for those that you don't know, Robin is one of our gentle giants, one of the old timers, that's doing the GGR, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I thought I'd get you in on the act for the latest news. Vendée Globe is definitely go for Les Sables d'Olonne. That's pretty cool. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that's really good news. Yeah, I've seen some posts about it. So, I mean, it'd be very sad if the Vendée didn't happen in November as it should be doing. So, hopefully things will be good, and it's an exciting time.
I was really sweating on it, because they were due to make a decision in about another 10 days or something, but they announced it early. So that's sort of showing typical French passion again. And, it's good news because it can be done by remote control. Everyone watches it goes round. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the village, but French being French, I reckon they'll be swamped there in numbers. So we'll all keep our fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah, they'll have the cast of thousands or millions down there on the dock and around the dock and on the wall and on the beach, and it'll still be a pretty darn big occasion.
Yeah, exactly. And John Luke had his birthday yesterday. Had his birthday. So I'm going to ask you later. So I'll ask you now. How old are you now? When were you born?
I was going to say I can't remember.
I want to see where you stack up against his 73 when he went round.
Oh no, I can't. I'm not gonna match Jean-Luc, but David Cowper will. So he can hold the flag for that one.
Well, there's another one. I mean, some of you might not even know who David Cowper is, and he was sort of an entrant up until now. But I just got a message from him. He's having a rethink because the pandemic. David is an expert, one of the world's greats for the Arctic, right? He's done every passage through the Arctic in his vessel, Polar Bound, a motorboat. And he's got one more he wants to do. And he's meant to be doing it this season, but the pandemic's mucked everything up. And now he's looking years ahead and he's thinking all sorts of things. Like, I can't say exactly what's going on, but watch this space. I mean, he's still got his vision and what he's doing, but anyway, we'll wait and see. Still technically an entrant in the GGR, but he might have to reshuffle his calendar. We'll wait and see.
Well, I hope he makes it, and whatever he does, hey, he's earned the right to do it. He's earned the right to do it. Put it that way.
It would have been a good one. But anyway, we'll see. I mean, he's got his boat. He's right into the refit. So anyway, I won't say much because it's not really public. But watch this space. He's got some interesting things going on there. John Clark is still waiting for his mast. His boat fell over in the marina and then smashed the mast. So insurance getting him a new one, but he's waiting for that. He's busting to get sailing because he's got to do a lot of miles.
Yeah, John struggled to find a break, with one or two things, and these things happen, and you can't plan for them happening or not happening. The boat gets blown over in the boatyard. He was up on the hard. It's not as though it's the kind of thing that could happen out on the water. This is,
I know.
It threw him some curveballs.
It was sad, but anyway, he'll get there. He's totally passionate about it. He's got a long road to the start, but there you go. Everyone has. Guy de Boer just claimed race number 56 for his boat, so he's got a new number for his boat now. Best one for the week is Gurav. Gurav does not. He's learned a lot from watching you guys do the GGR. I mean, you're a bit special, but he's made very particular note that a lot of the GGR entrants sell their house, do the race, and then they have nothing left at the end of it. The kitty is empty. So he's on the hunt now. He's going to buy 8 to 10 houses before the start of the race. He's made a big blog post about it. He's got a financial plan. He's very impressive. So we'll all be counting off the houses as he buys them leading up to the start of the race.
Okay, well, maybe we're all going to have a house to go and live in at the end of the race.
That's what I thought. If you get 10 starters, you've all got somewhere, 10 finishes rather, we've all got somewhere to go stay. And the other big one is that, we don't want to talk politics, but it's great that the Vendée Globe started, that at the Sable alone. That's big news for everyone, and we're excited about that. But there's also the second part of the election coming up on June the 28th, and then we'll know, how everything goes going forward. But yeah, Yannick is working hard at that. So good luck there, and we'll see how it all comes together. So now,
as long as Yannick's election doesn't degenerate into what's going to go on over here and what has gone on over in England, keep British and American politics out of it.
The whole region, irrespective of politics. I mean, I saw the numbers the other day. They spent something like €6 million on the marina and everything, getting ready for the Vendée, which is also good for the GGR. So they're doing all this new development all over the place, and Les Sables is a pretty progressive place. It's amazing, and there's only about 70,000 permanent residents there in Les Sables alone. I mean, there were 70,000 people in Australia in a little country town. They wouldn't do any events, so it's pretty impressive. Anyway.
Yeah, no, they've done a great job over there.
We digress. So tell me about you. What got you into sailing as a little boy, or when did you start sailing?
Well, I grew up on the beaches in Cornwall. They're surf beaches, and this was the north coast where there's great high cliffs and, beaches at the bottom of the valley kind of thing. Yeah. Very rural. There were no boats, no ships, no yachts or anything like that, just surfboards and so on. Yeah. I kind of was offered for a 16th birthday present a sailing on the Winston Churchill, which was a sail training ship that took 60 youths. Yeah. On what you could probably call character building exercises.
Yeah. That ship was around forever. It was a really good ship.
Yeah, it was a 3-masted schooner. That was my first, experience on the sea, so to speak. And at the same time, that was in 1968. It was November 1968. Robin Knox was doing the Golden Globe and Metissier and so on. And there were people that, knew all about this kind of stuff. And they assured me, not assured me, but assured themselves that nobody would get round. It couldn't be done and so on. But of course it was done. And, I thought, wow, one day I'd like to do that, down on the beaches, I could see out on the horizon, big ships going up to Liverpool and Bristol and things like that. And this was in the days when, you had steamships and smoke coming out the funnels, and you could see it out on the horizon on calm days. I thought, one day I want to be out on those ships, going all over the ocean and so on. So, when I got chucked out of school, then I went to radio school and learnt radio for the Merchant Navy. So I spent 20 odd years in the Merchant Navy on ships, going all over the world.
Doing the diddy da 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 diddy diddy da da, or just speaking.
Yeah, no. This was, proper Morse code stuff, and this, this was before the days of satellite and GPSs and things like that.
Back to the Titanic. Did they have
Yeah,
rivets
well-
in the ships in those days?
Yeah, well, pretty much. We had radio rooms that the radio room was bigger than the space in the whole of the Rustler 36.
Yeah.
Packed with radio gear and great big valve transmitters and receivers and so on. It was still it was a whole different ball game. There was very little SSB. It was just all Morse code.
Yeah, amazing. So you're in the merchant marine, then in your months off, because you do a swing of what, 2 months on, 2 months off, or 3 months, or whatever it was. What was the first solo event you did? You did the Ostar, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the O-Star in '88, but before that, I built a concrete boat in the field behind the house in the village where I lived back in the '70s. But I spent most of my time at sea because I needed to earn money, and the more time I spent at sea, the less time I was at home spending money. So
what was what was the design of your floating footpath? Because I had one of those.
Yeah, it's a Samson.
What design? Samson Marine.
Yeah,
Mine was a Sea Mist. Mine was a Samson Marine Sea Mist.
That's
the
right.
hull was 32-foot double end, the same as Sir Haley. What design did you have?
It was a 40-footer. I can't remember what.
40, yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and it was 40 foot because I thought, well, if I ever want to go and sail around the world, then I can't sail around the world in anything under 40 foot. We've got to have something that's big enough to do it.
So did you finish it? Did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished the boat. I ended up sailing it down to Cape Town and back to England. That was back in 1991. No, 1981. And then I got back to England just as the Falkland War was starting up. So I went down to the Falklands with one of our merchant ships and sold the concrete boat because I realized that was at the time that in '82 when the BOC was coming up.
Yeah. I was working on Philippe Jonteau's boat then, as before they were heading to the Falklands. That's where I slotted in. And all the guys in the BOC in Sydney, I was working on their boats, on their wind vanes.
Yeah. Well, I'd intended it, thought I was going to do the first BOC, and I just obviously didn't have the boat for it. I certainly didn't have the experience for it. So I thought, well, we've got to come back at this another way. So we went to the Falklands for 2 years and saved a lot of money and bought, an IOR a Bergstrom 38. Actually, it was 38.
Oh, I know that boat well. I know that boat really well.
And that's what we did the 88 O-Star in, and then the 1990 and 94 BOCs. Yeah,
okay. Before we go too far, don't worry. This show is going to go a little bit longer than 30 minutes, I think, because he hasn't even started his stories yet. They get really cool. So share it to your friends and sit back and relax. But so get into the first BOC. I'm going to go through. You did 3 solo circumnavigations, or tried to. Give us a quick brief on the first one that I was in with you.
Well, 1990. That was actually the only good race of the 3.
Yeah, you got around and finished. Yeah.
Probably because I didn't know any better, But we had a good race, and
it was good fun, eh?
It was, and we had some, great Southern Ocean sailing and some great downwind sailing, and not very much went wrong. Just things to repair and so on. And that was Newport to Newport, in Rhode Island, and then '94, of course, it all moved down to Charleston, but
it all went wrong. What happened?
I got dismasted.
Where?
Yeah, it was halfway between New Zealand and Cape Horn.
That's all.
it was just one of those things. It's funny actually, because the mast in the boat in 1990 was the original 1974 mast, and it could have been a bit suspect. And by the end of the race, the whole foot of the mast had elephant footed because of the compression and so on, and so the mast wasn't in too good a shape, and Bergstrom still had a spare mast in England for those boats because there were 6 of those boats built,
Yeah.
And Bergstrom still had one in England, and he said, well, you can have the mast, you know, and you'll just have to put it together yourself. And that's what we did. So it was a totally new, unused section that had sat there for, 17 years. It was in a lot better condition than the one I had. But what we actually did was we took off the spinnaker pole track off the mast and put a fixed fitting there. And that, in the course of too many jibes in the Southern Ocean, put massive forces down the spinnaker pole into the mast, and that's where it crumbled, right on the fitting there.
So then what did you do? So because I should explain to people, you're the only GGR entrant that gets a dispensation from having to run a jury rig trial before the start of the race. So explain in a few minutes or 1 minute what happened, how you got out of it.
Basically, we put two spinnaker poles together, and that was the jury rig. And it was a phenomenally good jury rig. I mean, it wasn't really my idea. It was John Hughes's idea. John Hughes in the previous BOC had done a similar thing with his jury rig when he was dismasted.
Yeah.
And so, that's what I did. And
how far did you sail with it?
It was about 2,300 miles, something like that.
Okay. And then you got a new mast and then got to the finish?
Yeah, so it was halfway between New Zealand and Cape Horn. So we sailed around Cape Horn to the Falklands. By then they'd got another mast. And my rigger in Plymouth, Anthony Bolter, did a great job getting everything together, and a load of people in England, and there was a load of fundraising in Charleston to help pay for it, and it was a big effort by a lot of people. And for myself, at the time, when you're dismasted, you kind of think it's all over. This is the end of the game, so to speak. And as the night wore on, and then it got to daybreak, and I'd already cut away the mast. It had all gone to the bottom of the ocean. I'd saved the pole. I'd taken the pole off the mast before I, dropped it into the water. And, you kind of figure out during the night, well, if I can build a jury rig, I can get sailing again.
Yeah.
And if I can get sailing again, well, I'm not going to sail across the Southern Ocean back to New Zealand. If I go north, I'm going to get into the calms. So the only real thing to do is stay where there's lots of wind, because with the jury rig, you've got very little sail area.
Yeah.
Stay in the wind, get to the Falklands. If I could get to the Falklands, could they get me another mast, out to the Falklands?
Of course they can.
So if they can get another mast out, could I get back to Uruguay, the next stop of the race, before the race restarted? Well, if I could do that, then I wasn't out of the race. So it was a great carrot.
Did you beat Minoru to the finish, or he beat you?
Yeah, no, I think I beat Minoru.
Okay.
It was a great carrot.
I should just explain, Minoru Sato is a very famous, experienced Japanese solo sailor that we all know and love. He did 7-8 solo circumnavigation now, but he did lots of BOCs, but he wasn't so fast. Great guy, though. Great boat.
Yeah, that's right. And, but it was a great carrot to dangle in front of a stupid donkey to, go for it. And see if we could get to the Falklands. And of course we did. So, we were still in the race. We got to the finish. But, and Anthony, the rigger, when he came up on the boat in the Falklands, came out to meet me, he said, well, he looked me straight in the eye and said, Robin, we effed up, didn't we? We really got this wrong. I said, yes, Anthony, we did. Because, Anthony and I had built the boat. It was nobody's fault. It was just one of those things. And you've just got to move on.
Yep, exactly. All right, keeping moving on. So we've had enough about rigs. And if anyone wants to ask a good question, just stick it on the comments, because I'm watching the comments come through here, and we can try and answer them. Okay, enough about rigs. The third BOC, it's all about rudders. What happened?
It broke.
When and where? What happened? Come on.
What can I say? This was in a Bergstrom 50, water ballasted with a tripod stepped mast. It was a beautiful boat, really. It was a test boat for Bergstrom and for Julian Verica in England. And Julian had gave me the test boat to go and do the BOC in. All I had to do was, rebuild the test boat to be a boat to go around the world. And Bergstrom's designers came up with a rudder, and it was carbon shafted and all that kind of stuff, and it just
so
snapped off.
To feel like a really groovy professional hot racer at that stage, instead of the little,
Yeah, I mean, we should have had a great race in 1998. It should have gone really well, and the rudder broke. So without a rudder, we were about off Recife over towards pretty much on the route that we will take. If we're going to go down to go around the Isle of Trinidad, in the next race. So from there to Cape Town, and I pretty much ran out of food and. Because it slowed me down quite a bit. I hadn't got a lot of food on board. I mean,
before you go there, I know the answer. How much food did you have left when you got there?
It was about 5 tea bags, I think.
Yeah, that's right. There's a long story to that, folks. There's a long story worth listening to on another occasion. But anyway, you had absolutely nothing left.
There was absolutely nothing. I think I personally was down to about 120 pounds of weight. It was as though I'd stepped out of a concentration camp. It was something else. The only saving grace in that was trying to put the weight back on before we sailed on from Cape Town towards New Zealand, was all those breakfasts I could eat, all those eggs and bacon. And,
that's the good part.
And I'd sit down with half a dozen other people, and everything they left, I'd eat.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so what happened between there and the finish? We've got to keep it moving.
Well, after New Zealand, the Hunter boat sent me out a rudder. So, we were back in the game. We put another rudder in Cape Town, and then every darn thing imaginable seemed to go wrong. The engine seized up. I think the wind generator blew out. All sorts of things. The bits of rigging, bits of this, bits of that, and for the race organizer, well, what's the problem of the day that's going to come from come from Robin? So if Hollywood had written a script of all the things that could possibly go wrong,
it was there.
You would have said it couldn't possibly happen.
But so you made it to the finish.
We made it to New Zealand, but by then the race had left, and according to the race rules, then you were out of the race. So I was basically out of the race because the race had already restarted to continue on towards Uruguay. It took me about 6 weeks to rebuild the boat in New Zealand, and from New Zealand to Charleston, to Uruguay, and then to Charleston, not one single thing went wrong.
Yeah, wow!
A fantastic sail. It was, it was terrific. But
did you beat Minoru back?
Yeah, I think I did.
We're saying this because we both have a lot of respect for Minoru. So if you're watching Minoru,
Mino's a great character, and, and so on.
So okay, you've been given the dispensation about emergency steering as well, because I know you did pretty well. What did you do for steering when you lost your rudder? We didn't say that.
Part of it was using the self-steering gear as the emergency rudder. That was my monitor. And the other part of it was the ropes I towed and changed the side of the boat they were on to start to bring the boat back to course. So that was actually the biggest problem. You think when you get dismasted, you've got, this is going to be a great challenge. Well, in many respects, once you've built a really strong jury rig, you can just sit back and go at the pace that the wind and sea will allow you to go. When you lose your rudder, all of a sudden you have to be on top of it for, every minute of every hour of every day for the rest of the trip to Cape Town. And it was absolutely, totally exhausting. It drove you total and absolute distraction.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about that, can I just mention something really funny? Remember when you're a kid, you got those Groucho Marx glasses and a nose with a little mo? You know, you used to wear those Groucho Marx things. I've got new glasses and I just saw Groucho Marx on the screen in front of me. The funny glasses. Anyway, bit obscure, but yeah. So, okay. So you've done all that. Now you've got another bloody rustler. What's going to stop your master falling down and your rudder dropping off?
Karma, I hope.
Karma. Okay, here's Robin's boat. I mean, I don't really need to show you these pictures because it's just a bloody rustler.
Yeah, it's just another rustler. You know, at the end of the day, fate will have its play, whichever way it goes. And you know, if we could foresee all the things that were going to go wrong and do something about them, then we'd have a perfect race. But you know, I've looked at the mast, and we're you know, doing some bits of work to the mast to stiffen it a little more, and you know, where Jean-Luc's tangs pulled, we're putting some stiffeners in the mast around there and things like that. And you know, you've just got to go for it and hope everything you know stays together. And you know, perhaps more than anything else, is you've really got to, you know, believe that no matter what goes wrong, you can come up with a solution for it and keep going. And you know, you've only got to look at Jean-Luc for that. And you know, that's not the Jean-Luc when he got pushed over and his rig got damaged in the Pacific. It wasn't unlike when I was dismasted. At the time, he thought the race was over and he was going to, you know, just get his boat, Chile, and you know, he was out of the race. You know, give him a day or so to start thinking about it and think about his options and think about what he could do about it. And then his whole mindset changed to, hey, no, we can keep going. Let's go for the Horn, and let's go for, you know, the Falklands. If we can get, you know, down off the Horn, well, we can get all the way back to France. And that was very much, you know, what I said when I was dismasted. You know, if we can just keep going to, you know, the Falklands, we can, you know, finish the race.
Yeah. Because for those that don't know, you've got Jean-Luc's brand new tall mast that he did the sea trials on and decided to chop it down to a short mast. So you got to deal with the mast and the sails, which is pretty cool.
That's right. I got all that stuff off Jean-Luc, and
hey, look, and it looks good. We had like 500 people watching live, and we're now down to 20. They've all left. They're getting bored. So I need to get into some crazy word associations. So we've got Shane waiting on the sidelines too. But you know the deal. First thing that comes to your mind, okay? Sponsors.
Pain in the arse. Money never enough.
Rump steak.
A what?
Rump steak.
Yeah, I put some mushrooms on it.
Albatross.
Oh, beautiful birds. You can watch them for hours.
Sextant.
Sextant. Yeah, well, we'd all better be get used to using those.
Books.
Well, yeah, I read a few of them. I'll take a few.
Impossible.
Impossible. What did Che Blythe say? The impossible we do at once. Miracles take a little longer.
Cold.
I don't like it any more than anyone else, but get used to it because it's part of the game.
Adventure.
Well, I mean, life's the adventure, isn't it? Swimming, as long as there's no sharks around, I'm happy going in the water for a swim. Holidays. Life's a holiday.
Robin Knox Johnson.
Oh, probably forgotten more than I'll ever know about solo sailing and seamanship and everything like it.
Okay. Pick a number 1 to 10. You got some questions now.
9.
What do you keep under your bed? We did this last week. What do you keep under your bed?
You want the clean answer or the
Don't go there. That's enough. You're a solo sailor. 10 to 20.
19.
19. How do you relax?
Oh, I just sit out in the cockpit and think of nothing, or sit in the hatchway and think of nothing. That's relaxation.
Okay, 20 to 30.
29.
Where is your life headed?
Probably the same place as everyone else's.
That's the one thing that's certain in life, eh?
It's one of the life. It's one of the very few certainties.
Okay, 30 to 30, 39, 30 to 40, rather.
Oh, 39.
39. Would you rather be poor and love your job, or rich and hate your job?
Well, I'm poor and love my job.
So that's that one. Okay, 40 to 47.
49.
40 to 47. Come on.
I heard you. 47.
Okay. What's the most courageous thing you've ever done?
Oh gosh, I've got no clue about that.
Probably get up in the morning.
No, go to bed. Go to bed in a force 12, perhaps.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Yep, I like that. All right, that rates A to N, a letter A to N.
N.
N. Oh jeepers! If man evolved from a monkey, how come we still have them?
Because they're more sensible than we are sometimes.
Okay, this is my favourite question here. I asked it last week. Where is it? If you ate yourself, would you be twice as big or disappear?
If I what?
If you ate yourself,
Ate myself.
you ate yourself. You know, eat yourself. Glub, 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 glub. Would you be twice as big or would you disappear?
I'd probably spit myself out.
Okay, that's good enough. Okay, on that little gentle number, what I'm going to do now is try and drop Shane in on this one.
Yeah, bring Shane up.
Here he is. Here he is. Here he is. Here he is. Where are you, Shane? You're not there. Am I pressed the right buttons? Why? Hang on. Shane's disappeared. Why? Oh, now. Okay, hang on. Now I've lost everyone. I got to try and bring you all back on again now. I'll bring in Robin. Okay, we've got Robin. Now I'm going to try and bring Shane in. Shane's meant to be here. What's going on, Jenkins? I can't get him up. He's there, but I can't see him there. You think it's he's there? He's on the screen. I've pulled him in, but he's not coming up.
He's not on my screen.
No, we just got a black screen here, but I'm seeing him. There's something wrong with the software, or something going wrong here. No, that's audio only. I'm a bit worried here. I can't get Shane up. Oh, Shane's not moving. So just send him a message. We're going to be nattering on. I'm going to send him a message. Just say to shut down and come back on again. He's not moving for some reason. Just see if we can do that. Hey, okay. So I'll just hide. Okay, so we got some questions here. So question one: What's the three essentials to a winning campaign? The three essentials to a winning campaign.
Everybody says it's preparation and experience and things like that. Three essentials: don't have highs and lows.
Yeah, I think it's planning, preparation, and execution. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't have highs and lows. Don't get excited about anything. Don't get down about anything, because I can absolutely guarantee, out on the ocean, doing this kind of race, you're going to have some of the most fantastic highs, and you're going to have some of the deepest lows you can ever imagine. So, don't have highs or lows. Master your energy and how you use it and what you think about things. Expect the unexpected, because the unexpected is always going to happen. And if you can expect it, then you'd have done something about it in the first place. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. A guy was just saying, what keeps you Guy Waits was saying, what keeps you motivated between the events?
What keeps me motivated between the events?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, you look forward to it, to the next event, and I mean, a lot of the motivation, a lot of what should keep you motivated are all the things that you think you can't do and find you can do as you go along. You know, you think you haven't got the answer to this. Well, you eventually find the answer to it, or find the solution to the problem, or you figure out things that you hadn't thought you'd figured out. You know, a lot of that is all the process of getting to the start, is the preparations and so on. And, you know, a lot of people are going to find they're doing things that they never thought they were going to do, or they thought they were just going to pay to get someone else to do, and they'll end up getting on and doing it themselves because they've figured it out, and they'll need to when they get out on the ocean.
Geez, don't forget to take a breath. That was a big one. So, okay. So, some people might not realise you actually entered 2018. You got your boat late, and you decided to retire from the race about a couple of months before the start, because it was all the timeline was compressed too much. What was the trigger to make you decide to come back into the game again and do the GGR? What was the sudden moment you said, I've got to do this?
No, there was no sudden moment, you know, in recognizing. I mean, I think back to 1998, you see, when, you know, we had the Bergstrom boat that should have been such a good entry and just gave me so, you know, I had so many problems with the boat, mainly because I didn't have the financing, and that was a big deal. We really did it on a shoestring, and the shoestring broke many, many times. And we didn't have the time for the preparation. We didn't have any time to go sailing before the race start, other than the 2,000-mile qualifier. And then, having done the qualifier, we had no time to fix and change things because the race was starting, you know, a week later. So I could recognize 1998 was coming again. If I didn't say, no, we haven't got the boat in the water. It's nearly the end of May. You know, the race is beginning the 1st of July. I'm just not in the game in any way, shape or form that I needed to be. And it was very, very disappointing. So it was never about when was I, you know, the thought process there and then was, well, we're not going to be here for this one, but there'll be a next one. Probably, I presume there will be, there could be, there should be, and we'll be ready for that. And if there isn't another one, we'll just go and do a round trip anyway, just to do it. That was you know, so there was never a decision to suddenly do the next race. It was just implicitly there, you know, from the day that we, you know, said enough's enough.
We've got about 12 people at the moment are getting ready for 2026. Okay, so it goes on. And what did you do between the events? What was your life before? You were a ship's radio operator, get into professional sailing, or try to be, and then you had to make a living. What were you doing between all these events?
I did a lot of talking, motivational speaking, things like that, you know, about the race, and a lot of it was schools and college groups and so on, where, you know, I wasn't so much talking about the race, just the challenges of doing things and the possibilities of what you can achieve if you go out and give it a go and make stuff happen for yourself. So that's pretty much what we've done ever since, or did, until, you know, we shut everything down to go back to England to, you know, buy the Rustler and get ready for the race. But
so you're happy where you're at the moment? Like you feel like the boat's right, you're feeling right. We've still got 2 years to go. So you're not going to go out and find a girlfriend and get married or anything like that in between, or whatever, you know.
No, I doubt that will happen. I think we need to go out and have a damn good sail. Go and, you know, so that's really what we're looking forward to at the moment. You know, you've got to have something to look forward to, but, you know, having said that, you know, you've really got to live in the present. You can't live in what's going to happen, you know, 2 years in the future. You know, the present at the moment, like, is, hey, we've got to get back to England, then we'll finish off, you know, doing stuff to the boat and getting it ready to go back to sea again, and, you know, then we can spend 6 or 8 months out on the ocean, you know, after November.
Amazing, eh? I can remember you and I talking, you know, saying, oh, geez, you got to wait another 4 years, you know. Crikeys, it's half a lifetime. We're only 2 years from the start, just about.
Well, it isn't, you know, because, you know, and I think back to, you know, 1980, as I was finishing the concrete boat, thinking I was going to do the BOC in 82. And then, that just didn't come about in the right way. The boat was just much too slow. I just knew very little about what I needed, in terms of experience. You can read it all in the books as much as you want, but you've got to go out and do it and get it wrong to find out what you really need to, find out what you really need to know. So, I'm thinking, 1986, I was down in the Falklands, I was out in the Persian Gulf in 86 with the salvage tugs, and I wasn't I just couldn't get to the 86 race in time, and then so it was 1990, so I saw 2 races go by, so it was over 8 years. So for anyone who's looking to do the the 2022 one who doesn't make it, hey, just hang on, you'll get there.
No way. I'd spent 8 years, as you know. It was 8 years. I wanted to do the 86 race, couldn't, kept going, did the 90. And that 8 years seemed to go like a blur. So tell me, a very tricky question. You can abuse me and you can tell me I'm an idiot. What do you think of the boats that we're using for the GGR?
I think they're fine. I really don't have a problem with them. I always said I'd never do it in anything under 40 foot. And then, but the rationalization at the time when I was thinking, when I first heard about the GGR was no, 40 foot, no, ain't going under 40 foot. And then I thought, well, my 40 footer was 38 foot that was extended to 40 foot to meet the race rules for the BOC.
Yeah.
Well, 38 foot, 3 foot isn't really that much, it's okay. Well, let's.
Well, look, I'm very confident that your rudder should fall off. Touch wood, and hopefully keep the mast there. And so hopefully you'll have a bit of fun. Jane's just working in the background here, trying to get Shane up. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to put him up again and see what happens. Give
him a try.
Hang on, we'll see here, and I think it's nope. We're not sure what's going on because we had Shane up and we had a good old natter, and it was going to be a bit of fun because what he told me, which I didn't realise until we just started chatting, was no. Oh, can you see him? He's up now. No, okay, no one can see him. So. What? No, I've got him on the screen. We're meant to be 3 screen. I've got him here. Say something, Shane.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, you can see Shane.
Yes.
Okay, Shane, say something, Robin. Can you hear Robin?
Yeah, I could hear Shane.
I can hear Robin, and I can hear you.
The problem is I can't hear Shane. Okay, well, let's just go. Shane. Okay, so what's happening is I'm getting Shane as a blank screen, and I can't hear you, Shane, but you can hear me apparently. Tell us the story that we just mentioned before about the reason that you're doing this stuff, Shane.
When I was 38 years ago, I think I was about 10. I bought a book.
Can I hear that?
And I've got it here, and I just want to challenge Robin on a couple of things. When he said this is called the third time around the BOC challenge, and I've got a photograph here of the two best communicators, and that would be a young Davie and a young McIntyre. And where Robin's bio says something like, first went to sea as a 16-year-old with Admiral Lord Nelson.
Yeah, I think that's urban myth.
Can survive on 1 pemmican biscuit per month.
Yeah, the 1 biscuit a month survival exercise, that was when I lost the rudder and ran out of food, I think.
Mate, lucky you're not a test pilot.
No, it's a good job I'm not the test pilot. Well, I was on that 50-footer, and
but it also says in the same book, and there's a young McIntyre.
Okay.
It basically says that McIntyre fools yachting world by using his nickname Buttercup, pretending to be sponsored.
Okay, this is getting a bit tricky now because
we're all here, deathly silence.
I've seen enough. There you go.
Anyway, Robin, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Shane, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good. I hope your, preparations or plans to get preparations underway are all going well, and hopefully we'll meet up soon.
It's going all right.
Yeah, we'll see him next week. He's on for a week.
Yeah, the boats in the
It gets
States
complicated because there's about a 20-second delay that I'm getting Shane about 20 seconds later. So I'm going to shut you down, Shane.
Okay. See you next week. See you soon, Robin.
I don't know what's going on now.
Yeah, cheers, Shane. See you soon.
See you later. Yep, see you later. Okay, so I shut that down. Anyway, I don't know what he said then. We had a delay and it couldn't quite work it that way. It's a bit of a bummer, but anyway. But did he mention the story that he was inspired? He'd been following me forever and then he started following you as well. And that's half the reason he's now doing the whole thing. He's been following me since all of my early expeditions. It was quite funny. I was thinking, oh, okay. So you're part of the deal as well.
Well, good for him. I mean, hopefully, Shane along with everybody else, like, John Clark and so on, are all going to be at the start. We'll all be there and we'll all have a good race.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me this, and it's going to be hard. There's no easy answer. I know that. So it's a stupid question. I know that. But why are you doing this again? What are you looking forward to most? What was missing in your life at the time that made you decide not only to, do the 2018 GGR that you had to miss out and now hanging on to the 22? What is it? What's the spark? What is it?
Well, the spark is basically, and everyone's got it who is aspiring to do it to some degree. And everybody who's entered and gets to the start line has got it to a big degree, and that's your passion. That's the thing you want to do, and it's indescribable in terms of in terms of the intellectual exercise of it. You can't define what it is because it's indefinable.
Yeah.
Where you're.
I suppose one of the times, sometimes I see people like yourself, because you're crazy. You've done 3 already, and now you're doing 4. It's just better than the other option, which is not doing it, or watching TV, or doing your beautiful jigsaw puzzles that I know you're getting really good at over there at the moment. It's just that I sometimes try and put it like that, where it's just what you do. It's a lot of fun, and it's got all the elements of an active full life. Whereas the other option is not quite right for some people. That's what happens to me.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's your inner passion is to want to go and cross an ocean again. And for myself, having done 3 of them with stops, I'd really like to do one without stops. It's not a foregone conclusion that I'm going to do it with no stops. I may well end up being forced into having a stop or 2 stops, or who knows? You really don't know. You don't know what the outcome is going to be, no matter how well you're funded or how well you prepare. There's the race itself is really like looking at a game of snakes and ladders.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot of snakes and there's not many ladders.
Yeah, exactly.
So you really don't. You've really got to go into this with an open mindset. That it could well turn out not the way you want it to turn out, but at the end of the day, you've just got to give it your best shot and hope karma and good luck is with you to some degree, and your own efforts are going to get you round, because nobody else is going to. There's no 7-Elevens to restock food. There's no AAA to come and tow you in when things go wrong. You've just got to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, what did you do with your 1990 Best Communicators Award trophy? The fishbowl, the crystal fishbowl with the globe on it, and the base. What did you do with yours?
I can't remember now. I gave it away to somebody who helped me in the race. I really have I don't have any trophies at all from any of the races. I just don't need them.
I've got a shed full of stuff, and somewhere in that shed full of stuff is my communicator's trophy.
That's right. I mean, at the end of the day, you just give them away to people who have really helped you, and they have a great appreciation for it, and I just don't need to have a, a
Yeah.
shelf or whatever of trophies and stuff. I'm trying to get rid of stuff.
I know. I got to go through that routine anyway. I think I've answered Guy Waite's question. He was just saying, "No, I didn't. I didn't say that. I said, why? What drives you? What's the motivation?" So I think Guy's question is answered. I'm just having a quick scan through. So anyway, I think we're just about there. I think we should just bugger off and do it again. I mean, you and I will definitely be playing a role. It'll be a bit of a bummer when you're actually doing the race. I won't be able to talk to you like this to talk about everyone else doing the race because you'll be in it. But before then, between now and then,
I thought I was having a dedicated satcom fitted just for talking to you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's one of the greatest motivations of doing the whole race is to get to a position and place in life where I don't have to talk to you all the time.
I know. I'll never forget your famous line. In fact, I think it's in my doco of the 1990, the McIntyre knockdown, when you come into Sydney and you get interviewed and you say, I say, "Oh, not McIntyre and his knockdowns again," because we used to have a bit of a natter on the radio. That was a bit of fun. So
yeah, we talked a lot on the radio, and talking on the radio is going to be very important in the next race. Just just to keep everybody going, keep everybody on the move, give people exactly. A bit of a push and a shove in what direction they need to, get on and get things done.
Yeah, exactly. All right, time to go. Everyone's wanting to go to bed and look forward to another day. And I know you've got a jigsaw puzzle just busting for you to break open and do again. I know you finished the last one because you told me before we started.
Well, when you finish the last one, you've got to start the next one, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Good to chat, Robin. We've been at it for nearly an hour or something. So I'm going to go, and I'm sure we'll work something out because it's always fun when you and I are together. People get bored, but we don't care. I have fun.
Yeah. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's it. So thanks for that, and share it around to your friends. If we're lucky, we'll get the GGR Entrants to share it around, and we'll see you next week with Shane. Sorry about that with Shane missing out. I'm not sure why. Sometimes it works perfectly. I'm pressing the right buttons, and Jane's doing everything she can, but it didn't work. Never mind. That's life. See you later, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.